Scott Derrickson is back, baby. What's up, everyone? Welcome to Mr. Teach Film Preach. And if you're a film lover like I am, and you learn from films as much as I do, then you are in the right place. And if you love horror films, then this video is perfect for you. Click like down below and subscribe to my channel for more content. Also, while you're down there, comment. Let me know, what did you think of The Black Phone? What did you think of this Scott Derrickson film? And were you so excited and anticipating this film and it paid off? Or were you really let down by this film? Today, we're talking about the horror suspense thriller film, The Black Phone. Written and directed by Scott Derrickson, who is a great horror director. He did a fantastic scary movie years ago called Sinister, with Ethan Hawke, the first Doctor Strange film in the MCU. The Black Phone is about a young boy, Finney, in the 1970s, late 1970s, growing up in Detroit. Some problems with him and his dad, to try and protect his little sister Gwen, who actually ends up protecting him more. And there's a great relationship between those two as brother and sister. There is a killer who is kidnapping children, young kids. The grabber eventually one day gets Finney on his way home from school.
Would you like to see a magic trick?
Yeah.
So most of this movie is actually about him in the room, being held captive, being tormented by this grabber phone, a phone that's not connected and doesn't work. And all of a sudden that the phone begins to ring. When he answers it, supernatural things begin to happen.
Don't hang up. Who are you?
First of all, the kid actors are fantastic. Madeline McGraw, I think is her name. Give her a nomination.
Thank you.
She is phenomenal in this movie. And even though she's not the one that's kidnapped, she has some of the hardest, most brutal, emotional, difficult scenes to film out of almost everyone in this movie. And this isn't like an easy role. This is a role that an adult would have a difficult time nailing. And this kid, who's maybe 10 or 11, knocks it out of the damn ballpark. Then there is the main character, our protagonist, played by Mason Thames, another difficult role just like the sister, and he nails it. He pulls it off in spades. Ethan Hawke is great as the grabber, one of his best roles in the last 10 years. A really entertaining, scary, creepy, haunting, disturbing performance that I really appreciated from him. Jeremy Davis as the father of Gwen and Finney, and he is so crazy in this movie, so dark, depressing, but also weirdly sympathetic. Tension-filled? Yes, absolutely. It is suspenseful? Absolutely. There are about 3 jump scares that do occur throughout the film, but besides that, it's really not that bad of a film. You don't have to be a horror lover to enjoy this movie. I like horror, but I'm not in love with it. It's not my favorite genre, but what Scott Derrickson brings to the table as a writer is so intelligent, and he weaves this story so well. He reveals things at very specific times. How it all comes together, the story and plot details that he just sprinkles throughout the film, and then we get the big picture in the last 20 minutes. You're like, wow. So well executed, so well developed in the writing phase. Just the way that the things that all of the people on the phone give him, just decides to reveal things to allow the story and the characters to breathe and explore things, to make us so invested in the character of Finn and Gwen, how their stories connect to each other. There is a certain supernatural feel to this movie, but it's very set in a very real world, visceral, gritty, dark, and dangerous at times, but it's also sprinkled with humor and levity and strength and hopefulness. This movie has some great dialogue, some awesome interactions between the characters. That young girl, the way she was so strong in the ways that Finn couldn't be, but Finn was strong in his own way. He just had to be built up by all the people on the phone. There's so many great dynamics happening between the relationships of characters that exist on screen together, and then the relationship between the characters that only ever talk on a phone or see each other in flashbacks. And the way he does that is so brilliant. Whenever Scott Derrickson goes to a flashback or shows something that has already happened or tells it from a different perspective, or the supernatural things that occur, and he films it like these late 1970s cameras where they have this almost like stock footage, shaky cam, grainy feel to it, and just the aesthetic that he creates with those flashbacks in that 1970s camera style is brilliant. Filmmakers and film lovers will so enjoy the way he put and strewed those flashbacks and those supernatural scenes together. This is based off the short story by Joe Hill, who is the son of Stephen King. There's a sense of realism and harshness and grittiness and the bullies in this film, and then also mixing in with the slight supernatural aspect of it and kind of meshing them together to really make them work. There were also some moments throughout this film that had callbacks to Stephen King, like when Gwen is riding her bike in the rain and she's wearing that yellow raincoat and poncho, and it's very much like Georgie in It. Tension moments that feel like misery, being stuck in the house and having a captive person. This film, but it's also a survival film of him being stuck in this room, getting away from abusive relationships and standing up for yourself. There's these great themes that are all woven into the story as well that were really poignant. In the wrong hands, this could have been a really cheesy, crappy, poorly written and executed film. This movie's only like an hour and 40 minutes long. Perfect length for a film like this where it's mostly stuck in one house, one room. The only thing that didn't really fit well with this movie was the coke head, the guy who was always doing coke, James Ransom. He was funny, but it was almost like he was in a different movie. He definitely was almost too much over the top, where it was so comedic it was almost ridiculous, where the rest of this movie is based in realism, and there is some levity in this film and there is some jokes and stuff, but the tone of the scenes that James Ramsden had as this coked out guy trying to figure out this story was a bit ridiculous and kind of took me out of it. And while I said that this is a well executed film, this is a smart film, it's also safe in a lot of ways. There aren't too many things that are being broken ground wise in this genre. It's not like seeing Hereditary for the first time. Whoa, what is this? This is just a fun popcorn thriller that is scary and suspenseful, but it relies more on the concept, the performances, and the tension than it does like the gore or the thrills or the jump scares. But I had no expectations going to this film besides the fact that I love Scott Derrickson, and he did not disappoint.
The creepiest damn thing.
So overall, this film is wonderful. Definitely go check it out in theaters. It is worth it. I'm gonna go ahead and give Scott Derrickson's The Black Phone an A-. What did you guys think of The Black Phone? Was this a 2 thumbs up or 2 thumbs down for you? I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments. You can also check out some of my other reviews I've done so far, like The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, Lightyear, Top Gun Maverick. Thank you so much for joining me today on Mr. Teach Film Preach. I hope you guys had a great time, and we'll see you on the next film. Stay focused, stay awesome, and as always, let's get taught.